Welcome back to my channel where an American gives you an informed opinion on the English Premier League. In today's video, we are talking combined 11 for the United versus Arsenal game this Sunday, aka the social media derby. I mean, there's no more toxic Twitter after a game than an Arsenal versus Man United match. So as a Tottenham fan, it's nice to just sit back and see all the overreactions and underreactions to whoever won or lost. But without further ado, let's get into this combined 11. And then after, I'm going to give you my predictions for that match, as well as 5 others in the Super 6, which I unfortunately cannot play because I'm in America. But I am giving you an informed opinion. So if you want to steal my picks and you are eligible to play, go for it, and we can split the profits after the fact. But without further ado, starting in goal, I am going with Andre Onana. For me, Onana is really quality, and I know he got absolutely bantered to death and memed to death on Twitter after he fell over on the first Forest goal. But for me, he's clearly better with his feet than Ramsdale, and a better shot stopper than Ramsdale. And for me, Ramsdale is the third choice for England. I would go Pickford and Pope over him. I think Ramsdale is actually pretty overrated. I know other people rate him really highly and think he should be the England #1, but I'm on the complete opposite side of the spectrum. I think David Raya could even compete with him for the #1 at Arsenal, so I'm definitely taking the clear #1 at United and Andre Onana. Moving over to left back, this is kind of a throwaway pick as there's so many injuries, especially in defense for these two teams. But for me, I'm going to go Zinchenko, just because we haven't seen that much from Dalot at left back, or Kivior wasn't that impressive when he played there. And I think Zinchenko, based off of his past performances for City and Arsenal, for me, he's the best left back that's available in the squad. I obviously would have gone probably Timber 1 and then Shaw 2, but due to injuries, I'm going with Zinchenko at left back. Moving to the left center back, I'm going Lisandro Martinez. This is a reluctant Lisandro Martinez because if Gabriel had been playing the previous 3 matches, I would have gone with him. If Varane was healthy, I would have played Varane and Saliba together, but I'm not playing Maguire. I would almost play Lindelof over Martinez, but I'm going to put at right back, and I don't want Partey at center back. So for me, I'm going Lisandro reluctantly at left center back. Moving on to right center back, probably the easiest of all the picks of this entire squad. We're obviously going with Saliba. The PFA Men's Team of the Year just came out, and he was included, which is a vote by the players rather than journalists and social media people picking the team. So clearly the players rate Saliba. I rate Saliba even as a Tottenham fan. He's easy at right center back. Moving on to right back, I feel Wan-Bissaka actually gets some unwarranted hate. I know he's not amazing in attack, but he's a great defender, and I think he's overall a very solid player. I think he starts for probably 70 to 75% of all Premier League teams at right back, but I do think Ben White in this Arteta system is really good. I know Arteta has kind of been messing with the formation versus what he was doing that was so successful last season. I think he's going to get back to what they used last season that had them playing free-flowing and such dominant football. They haven't looked that good thus far. They've been squeaking some victories, and they didn't look good in the 2-2 draw this past weekend. But I think they get back to it. I think they play Ben White at right back, and for me, I would play Ben White in my combined 11. The midfield 3, this is where the comment section is going to go crazy because it's so heavily debated. Probably other than goalkeeper, I think this is going to be the most debated thus far because the defense with injuries and such, it kind of made itself. But the midfield, starting with Declan Rice at CDM. Casemiro is obviously amazing. His resume speaks for himself, but he has not looked good. And I think that is part of a result of United's team as a whole playing Mount and Fernandes. He's kind of getting overrun in the midfield due to the way they have been playing, but he just doesn't look that up to it. I think he'll come into it throughout the season, but as of right now, Rice picked up exactly where he left off at West Ham. His defensive work rate and distribution is kind of bar none in the entire Premier League. So Rice for me gets in over Casemiro and Partey. Moving up in the midfield, I'm playing Odegaard and Bruno together. I think both of these teams play a similar style in the sense that Havertz and Odegaard have played together in the Arsenal midfield, and Bruno and Mount were previously playing with each other in the midfield. So I think it's perfectly fine to include 2 quote-unquote number 10s in this combined 11. Them 2, for me, easily get in. Eriksen has actually been pretty good for United since he's come in, either being a sub for Mount or starting over Mount. I think Eriksen's actually been really good, but Odegaard and Bruno, both too good not to get in. And for me, if you watch my TikTok on my 15 worst transfers, Mount and Havertz, respectively, effectively came in as number 1 and number 2 worst transfers of the entire season. So they're not getting close to this combined 11. Mount is lucky that he's missing it out with injury, so I can't go completely in slandering him because it would be a waste of time because he can't even get in the combined 11 because he's injured. And then Havertz 100% out wide at the number 8, at the number 10, at a false 9, is never getting anywhere near this team. I don't know why they brought him in. Arsenal, for me, needed to make very calculated signings in the summer to compete with City, and it's going to show that they did not, and I don't think Arsenal is going to have any chance competing for the title this season. But yes, that is my midfield. Havertz and Mount, even if Mount was healthy, would not get anywhere close to this team. Moving to my front three, starting at right wing, similar to the Saliba pick, Bukayo Saka also easily slots into this team. If you're a United fan, if you're an Arsenal fan, if you're a Tottenham fan like myself, it does not matter. If you have watched the first 3 match weeks and you have the balls to say that Antony deserves to play the right wing, you should never speak about the beautiful game that we watch, and you should never watch it again because clearly your eyes are messed up. Saka gets in easily. Antony has been absolutely shocking. Moving to left wing, for me, I would actually play Sancho at left wing and Rashford at the number 9, but he doesn't seem to be really in the mix for the starting 11, so I want to keep it realistic of who's going to be playing. So I'm going to put Rashford, but people forget Sancho was in that team with Haaland and Bellingham, and he was talked about as a prospect, maybe even being better than Bellingham and Haaland, and we've seen obviously Bellingham and Haaland are 2 of probably the top 5 players in the entire world right now. I think Sancho actually needs to leave. This video will come out right after the transfer window has ended. I hope he gets out of United because he still has so much quality for me. So I would start him left wing and Rashford up top, but for realism, he's not going to get in. So I'm going to play Rashford at left wing over Martinelli. If you watch my Arsenal summer rebuild on my TikTok, you saw that I said that Martinelli is one of the most overrated players in the entire Premier League, and I stand by that, and I think we're seeing a little bit of that this season. He caught lightning in a bottle last season, but for me, his final product isn't that great. He has good pace, good dribbling, he's good in a one-on-one situation, but his final pass to be an assist or his final shot to have a goal, for me, is not that great. And in an Arsenal side that doesn't have a true number 9, you need your front 3 similar to Saka to be really clinical, and Martinelli isn't deadly enough for me, so I'm going Rashford. He has way more quality, one-on-one situation, finishing, passing, everything for me than Martinelli, so I'm going Rashford. And then up top, Jesus came on as a sub last game, so I think he'll be fit, and I think he starts. So Jesus easily gets in for me at the number 9 over Martial or Nketiah. I know Nketiah scored, but if Jesus is fit, he's a great fit for this Arsenal side. The way he moves in and out of positions out wide and up top at the number 9. So I think Jesus easily gets in. It'll be interesting to see if Arsenal's level rises with Jesus back in the squad. So yeah, that is my combined 11, 4 United players and 7 Arsenal players. I think is unbiased and fair, and I think a lot of people in the comments would agree with me. Let me know where I went wrong and what you would do differently. But let's move on to the Super 6 predictions / game preview for this game that we just talked about, Arsenal versus United. There's a reason I put Arsenal 7 players, Man United 4. Arsenal, I think, win this match 2-0. I think this match is very similar to the way Tottenham dominated United in their 2-0 victory 2 weekends past. Again, if you watch my Premier League predictions video that was on this channel, you'll see that I had United in 8th place, and they might even be playing worse than their 8th place finish in my predictions show. They got a lucky 1-0, 3 points out of the Wolves game, which they clearly didn't deserve. And then they needed a 3-2 comeback against a 10-man Forest in order to win that game. They really don't deserve to be where they are in the table, and I think Arsenal will show them. I think Arteta goes back to the tactics once again that he was using last season. I think they dominate the ball. I think they create a ton of chances that aren't all capitalized on for what I spoke about previously with Martinelli's finishing and Jesus being his first real game back. I think they'll miss some clear chances, but I do think they score 2, win this game pretty easily 2-0, and Man United is going to have to take a real look in the mirror about what this season is going to look like, because after this match, I think people are going to have the conversation of if top 4 for United is even realistic for them. Moving on to the next game of the Super 6, Chelsea versus Nottingham Forest. I think the loss to United for Forest last weekend, which I just spoke about, is going to have some long-term effects on Forest. It's just a really draining loss to take after being 2-0 up so early in the match, getting a red card, and ultimately losing 3-2. So I think this is a great opportunity for Chelsea to build on their 3-0 victory against Luton last weekend, and I'm going to give them another 3-0 victory versus Forest. I think Jackson and Sterling playing so well in the Luton game. I don't know if Jackson played so well but got his goal. They'll be able to build off of that. And I think Jackson could, hot take, be in for a hat trick this weekend against Forest. I'm going Chelsea 3-0. The next game, Tottenham versus Burnley. Most of you know that I'm a Tottenham fan. So seeing the reaction after our loss in the Carabao Cup was really, really depressing, disgusting, whatever the word is to me, because 3 days previous over the weekend, people were ready to name their firstborn Ange, and now everyone is going at him. Big teams put in a B lineup, especially for the Carabao Cup early in rounds. It's what they do. You rotate the team, keep people fresh. The manager sees new people. It just goes to show how little our depth is and that our squad as a whole is not there. Our best part of our team is the midfield. None of the midfield three played, which I'm fine with. We're out of the cup. Yes, we're not going to get trophies, blah, blah, blah. If you had asked me this season, would you rather win no trophies and get top 4 or win the Carabao Cup and not get top 4? I'm taking top 4. If we want to be an actual big club, Kane got brainwashed by social media by saying trophy, 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 but I'm not getting brainwashed by social media. Us getting top 4 is way more important than us winning a Carabao Cup. I'm not bothered about the trophies. Let Ange cook. Let him do what he wants to do. So I digress. From the Carabao Cup, I think we win 3-1 against Burnley this weekend. I think it's a big bounce back performance with our strongest 11 back into the team. Richarlison getting a goal in the cup, I think, is huge. Any goal for him, get him out of his head and playing well. He's the Brazil number 9. I think he gets his first goal of the Premier League season. I think Son gets his first goal of the Premier League season. I'm going Tottenham 3-1, a big win to continue the Premier League train that Ange has us on. Next is City versus Fulham. We haven't seen the prototypical Manchester City 5-0, 6-0 absolutely throbbing that they put on some teams, and I think that's coming this weekend. Fulham coming off their high of the game that I just spoke about in the Carabao Cup of beating Tottenham and advancing on in the Carabao Cup. I think they come down from that high, not fully prepared for what City has coming for them, and I think Foden puts on the performance of the weekend, having 3+ goal involvements in this game, absolutely tearing Fulham to shreds. And I'm going to go with a 5-0 win from City, an absolute demolition. Up next is Brighton versus Newcastle. Brighton got humbled at the weekend after receiving, in my opinion, a lot of unwarranted hype and love from the media for beating 2 relegation favorites, Wolves and Luton, 4-1 in their 2 previous games. They got absolutely humbled by West Ham. And then you also have Newcastle looking to bounce back from their demoralizing loss after giving up the 1-0 lead against 10-man Liverpool. And I actually think this game isn't going to be full of goals the way most people are talking about it. I'm going Newcastle getting their first clean sheet of the entire Premier League season and winning this one 1-0 on an Isak goal. The last game of the Super 6 batch is Palace versus Wolves. Palace have 2 goals in 3 matches in the Prem so far, and I think this is their coming out party in the league. Eze is really going to take this game over and have a similar performance to what I just spoke about with Foden against Fulham, and I think Eze himself has 2 or 3 goal involvements in this match, and Palace put a beating on Wolves, who are in absolute disarray. Matheus Cunha just went to City. It's not looking good for Wolves. I think it's a 3-0 to Palace where they really put them on Wolves and have Wolves really thinking about how they're going to stay up this season. Let me know now what you think of my Super 6 predictions. Feel free to use them because they will come true. Leave a comment, like this video if you've enjoyed. Comment what other videos you'd like me to do. I'm open to really doing any type of videos. Hit the subscribe button if you have not. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Peace.